My name is Justin Peck. I am an author, a mental health advocate, and a professional race car driver. Off-road racing is pretty much like being in a 24-hour plane crash. A lot of dirt, a lot of bumps, a lot of speed. I've been racing for, probably 26 years now. The most dangerous part of off-road racing consists from the beginning to the end. The way that I try to explain it to people is you can go through a lifetime and maybe have 500 moments where you're like, okay, I just about died there. In a desert race, we have thousands of those within an 8-hour period. If a misplaced rock is in the wrong spot, you're gonna hit it, you're gonna crash, or if you hit a tree or hit a cow, which I've actually done. I really hit a cow at 115 miles an hour. The cow just jumped out. It was like a cow suicide. It was crazy. Have I hit a person? No, I've never hit a person in a car. My first experience with tattoos was probably when I was 18. I went into the tattoo parlor, looked on the wall and said, I want that. The guy looked at me and said, okay, you're gonna have to wait a couple hours, and I didn't want to wait. So I left, and later that day I was kind of even doubting that one that I picked. I put into my mind that I was gonna wait until it was 365 days that I wanted the exact same thing. And so I went at 18, so at 19 I tried to think of something, and that didn't stick. And then when I turned 42, I knew what I wanted for about 3 years prior. I started March 7th of 2014 and was completed 270 hours in 364 days. What is it like to have bipolar disorder? It's a fun ride. I don't know, I always make fun of it. I've always told my children, if you're ever gonna have anything wrong with you, bipolar disorder is great. You've got the high level, and then when you wanna be tired, you just lay in your bed for a couple months. I mean, for me personally, I don't consider it a disorder, I consider it a blessing. Mostly because if I didn't have it, then I wouldn't be who I am. For me, and for most people, they don't ever really know that they're in that manic phase. You have to have a good tribe. Right? That's what I call it, is the tribe of people that surround you, that love you, that care about you. I had one episode that kind of changed my life. I think it was like 12 years ago. Typical morning, went to go to work. As I was driving around checking out like the job sites and stuff, I just had this overwhelming sense of despair. So I drove up the canyon that was close by my house, and I'm sitting there listening to my music and just kind of trying to enjoy the day. In one brief moment, I mean, I'm talking about like just one split second of irrational thinking. I reached over into my center console, grabbed my pistol, loaded it, put it to my head, and pulled the trigger. That basically changed my life. I looked at it as, now there's a purpose. Now, I mean, there's a reason why it went off. I mean, I unchambered the bullet was in my lap, I picked it up, I could see where the firing pin had hit. It was that realization of, you don't quit, you never quit. And so from that time forward, now it's, I want to be that guy that can share the same experiences with people and what they're having, and be able to relate to people. I didn't have anybody to relate to, so if I can relate to other people, then maybe it will change their mind and not drive up the canyon. So one of the big challenges of my life was to create my story in a readable form. I wrote a book. It was a lot of deep thought, a lot of reoccurring emotion, a lot of memory. But I think at the end of the day, it's been kind of a savior for me because I'm able to share that with other people and kind of relate. The name of the book is called Bulletproof, and there's a lot of meaning behind that. The stuff that's coming up next, mostly just racing. Tattoos, I'm still thinking. I still have a lot of skin left. So the focus now is a lot of the mental health conferences to be able to promote the book and honestly just race my ass off.